Hi, my name's Naomi. Some of you may be coming here from my Bookstagram channel, Bookstagram account, Naomi's Library, and if you are, thank you so much for doing so. I really appreciate it. This would be the first video on my channel, I believe. I was contemplating on doing the Booktube newbie tag, but I kind of wanted to do this one first because it's more important and prominent during the state of our world. So, you know, I've always considered myself an ally for the Black Lives Matter movement. I am Latinx, so I do know what it feels like to be a minority in this country. I will never say that I'm susceptible to the same violence that Black people are in this country, but you know, I consider myself an ally and I wanted to do the work. When I was asked that question, I realized when I looked at my shelf, I was disgusted by what I saw because I wasn't gravitating towards Black authors and I wasn't reading that diversely. So I didn't know what to say. So of course, the first thing I did was go online and purchase all of the books that I could, books that I've been interested about that I just hadn't gotten the chance to buy yet, books that I was being recommended as well, and just starting to read those diverse books because I always thought that I was reading diversely because I am a minority, but when I looked at my Goodreads and my bookshelves, I really wasn't. The book publishing industry is just very white. There's not a lot of diverse authors, POC authors, Black authors, and it sucks and we need to do better. And I'm really happy that everyone's supporting all of the Black authors, all of the minority authors, because we need to be doing that at all times. So like I said, it's very important to be purchasing all of the books by Black authors, minority authors as well. Right now it's Pride Month, and I came across this post by a queer bookstagrammer who posted that he was seeing a lot of Pride and LGBT book recommendations, but a lot of those books weren't own voices. It was LGBT novels, characters that are LGBT written by straight authors. And when I look back at my own Pride Month post, I realized that I was one of those people, and probably like one or two of the books in that post were own voices for the LGBTQIA plus community. So we're all getting educated, we're all getting checked, which is very, very important, because you think you're an ally and you think you are doing the work, and then you get yourself checked in this way, and it's very different. So that's all I wanted to say, and I want to get into these recommendations. I can't really call it a recommendations video because I've only read one of these books. It's mostly like a haul and kind of showing you books by Black authors, what they're about, and if you're interested, you can go ahead and buy them, and I'll let you know what I think of them in the future. But I'm gonna start with the only book that I've read in this little haul, and that is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I've seen Tomi Adeyemi in like Good Morning America or something, and she just looks like such a cool person to meet. I would be really I would love to meet her. I think she was a YALFist when I was a YALFist, but I hadn't read this book, so a missed opportunity, and I hate myself for it. So this book, it's a fantasy novel, and as well in the publishing industry, of course, there isn't that many Black authors being published, but there's even less Black authors in the fantasy genre. So this is definitely a gem. Like I said, I've read this book already, and I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The more I think about it, it's a 5-star, but I need to let it marinate, I feel like. But like I said, fantasy novel. This book is set in the world of Orisha. In this fantasy world, magic used to exist, and all the people that used to have magic are very oppressed in this world, because the king does not want these people to have magic because they would have power and they could in turn kind of take over of this world. And we follow one of my main characters favorite main characters ever, Zelly, and I love her. And like I was saying, the camera cut is stupid. This book really reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones, and like very different adventure storylines coming together at the end. Very epic, high fantasy in my opinion, and I really loved it. Like I said, 4.5. It's still marinating, probably a 5-star soon. And then the next one, real quick, while we're here with Tomi Adeyemi, is of course Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I don't know much about this one. I haven't looked up what the storyline is going to be following. I kind of just spoiled myself looking into there. Moment of silence for that. So this is the second one for Children of Blood and Bone, obviously. If you've read this one and you haven't picked up the sequel, I'm really surprised because of the way that this ended. It was kind of cliffhanger-ish, and there was just a lot of loose ends in this novel, so I'm surprised you haven't picked it up. If you haven't, you got to. Hello. Yeah, and if you're interested in this one, you should totally like pick this up, and then you're gonna want to pick the second one. I'm really excited to read this one. I'm feeling more of contemporary right now, so I'm going to be showing another contemporary and then probably reading this one next. So let me show you guys what I'm currently reading. Right now it's Queer Blackathon. If you didn't know, a couple people from Bookstagram, they're also booktubers, Jessie from Bow Ties and Books, Miona from Miona Reads, oh my gosh, The Novel Lush, and Francina Simone, I believe. That's all four. They are the hosts of Queer Blackathon, and it's the readathon happening. It started June 19th, which is Juneteenth. If you didn't know, celebrating freedom. June 19th, years back, was the day when slaves were freed. And we were celebrating, and this readathon is 48 hours, so today is the second day of this readathon, and I thought I was going to be getting more reading done. Sadly I did not. I started You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson yesterday, and this book is very short. I should have been able to finish it yesterday, but I did not for some reason. I was doing other things, and I wasn't prioritizing reading. But this book, of course, it's queer, by black author, black main character, queer as well. You get the point. This book is about this girl who has like her whole life planned out after high school because she really wants to get out of this small town and go to this prestige university. But in order to do that, she needs to have the scholarship in order to get in because she just can't afford it. And some things happen and she does not obtain the scholarship. As well, the small town is very big on prom, and people that run for prom and win prom, king and queen and all of that jazz, get a scholarship or like a money grant thing at the end. And they have to do these things like bake sales, and like they have to play sports, and they just have to volunteer, and they just have to do things in order to get like a better rating for prom king and queen. In this school, I love the family like dynamic in this book. I love the friendships. The romance is really cute. When I was reading this, I felt like this would be the feeling that I would have gotten if I'd read Love, Simon by Becky Albatali, because I never read Love, Simon. I watched the movie, and because I watched the movie and I never read the book, I feel like it's kind of pointless at this point to read Love, Simon the book, because I know what's gonna happen. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the book's like a million times better than the movie. You'll let me know if that's true. But yeah, I just feel like a very nostalgic feeling, like the way that I did when I was watching the Love, Simon movie, which I loved. So, You Should See Me in a Crown. I'm really enjoying it. I'm predicting a 5-star rating. I saw Kayla from Books and Lala. She gave this a 5-star. So, I'm excited. So next up, I'm going to show what I was supposed to be reading next for the Queer Blackathon, but obviously it's the second day of Queer Blackathon, and the The readathon ends in a couple of hours. It's 4 p.m. here where I live, and it ends at midnight. So I'm probably going to be finishing You Should See Me in a Crown and not getting around to anything else. So my plan was supposed to be the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. Everybody knows N.K. Jemisin here on Booktube. Black author of fantasy books. I know this is like supposed to be like an epic high fantasy novel, but I don't know much about what it's supposed to, like the plot of this book. I was very interested because I've seen Reagan from Prose Project talk about this book, and I've seen it all over Bookstagram when it comes to supporting Black authors under the support Black authors hashtag. This book comes up a lot, so I'm really excited to read it. Whenever I'm in the fantasy mood, I will read this, but right now, because of You Should See Me in a Crown, I'm in a more of a contemporary mood at the moment. So, which I haven't been in a long time. I've been reading fantasy after fantasy for like the longest time. So I'm excited to read more contemporary. So maybe this will happen in the fall. It's also longer, and like I've been enjoying reading books very quickly because contemporary, you know, everybody reads contemporary pretty quickly. So this is, I don't know what this is about. I'm sorry. You're going to have to look it up. It's won awards, so that's something nice about this. The next book, it's a book that I am like confused as to why I haven't read. I haven't even watched the movie. There's a movie for it. That's how good it is. And I feel like this book, out of all the books that I mentioned, if you want to buy at least one, because obviously I understand not everyone has the budget to buy all these books at once. I definitely didn't have the budget, but I still did it. It's The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. If you buy any book, please let it be this one. This book, if you don't know what this book's about, which we're on Booktube, you probably do. But this book is about this black young girl who witnesses her best friend being murdered by a police officer. So of course, during this time in our world, this is a very important read. I'm very excited. It's won awards. It has a movie. I haven't read it. I haven't even watched the movie. Like, it's just so ridiculous that I haven't read this. I think it's probably because, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I was in a really, like, in a mood for just fantasy. Like, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, like that series, and then I just wanted to read all of the fantasy books. And I haven't read contemporary in a really long time. I'm pretty sure Radio Silence last month, and then now You Should See Me in a Crown are the only contemporary books that I've read like all year, and we're in June. Like, I don't know why, but I'm really excited to read this. I'm really excited to, after reading this, to watch the movie with, oh my gosh, what's her name? Amanda. Her name's Amanda, but I forgot her last name. Rue from The Hunger Games. Y'all already know. I know that as well, besides that happening in the book, because I'm pretty sure that happens early on in the book. I don't know what else comes after that, but I know that she dates a young white man in this novel, so I know that is probably like a theme / topic that is conversed about in this book. I'm really excited for like for Angie Thomas's like words and thoughts and feelings about our world, and just reading about other people's perspectives is very important, and I'm very excited. I know this book is going to make me very sad, very angry, but we can't stay comfortable in this world, so very excited. Like I said, out of all the books, let it be this one that you pick up. So I did a contemporary, let me do a fantasy, and then I have another contemporary, and then that's it. I promise it's not supposed to be a very long video. So the next fantasy that I have is A Song of Raids and Ruin. I'm so excited. I keep looking at my monitor, and I know I shouldn't, but it's newbie stuff, man. It's newbie stuff. Anyway, A Song of Raids and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. This book cover is so gorgeous. like I said, this is a fantasy novel, and if we are comparing books to any other book, I guess I would compare this book to The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This book follows, I believe it follows two separate perspectives. A young and a girl in this world. A young and a girl, what? A boy and a girl in this world. I don't know what this world is called. It's a desert city of Saran. So in this desert city of Saran, this boy and his sister is captured by, I guess, like the royalty court of this city, and he wants to get his sister back. And in order to do that, he has to enter this festival that happens every year in the city. I'm not entirely sure like what the festival entails. I'm guessing it'll be like some sort of like Goblet of Fire, like Harry Potter type of games. I don't know. The second perspective that we're following in this novel, and that is the perspective of, I'm guessing, the person on the cover, which is the princess of the city, and her mom was recently assassinated. In order for her to avenge her mother, she has to perform this ritual, and in that ritual she has to sacrifice, I believe it is the life of her husband that she has to sacrifice. And in the way that she plans to do that is by offering her hand in marriage to the person that wins the festival. And as we already know, our boy Malik is entering the festival, so I'm guessing that's the way that those two perspectives are going to combine and how their stories are going to intertwine. And I'm really excited. Like I said, this kind of reminds me of Wrath and the Dawn, and the way that two different perspectives have a goal that they want to achieve, but they're kind of getting mixed together. So I'm really excited. This sounds super interesting, very different from anything that I've heard of before. So I'm really excited to read this and see what happens in this novel. I'm really excited. So last but not least, the last contemporary book that I have, and the last book in this haul overall, is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, as well as Elizabeth Acevedo being a POC author. She's Afro-Latinx, so I am so excited because I love reading books like The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys, and like Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. Novels that have Spanish words. Spanish is my first language, so I'm super excited to have Spanish words in this book as well, and having that little bit of Latinx representation just really warms my heart. I need to read more Latinx novels. I need to read more Elizabeth Acevedo. I've never read anything by her. There's another book called Where Dreams Ascend that one of my best friends on Bookstagram raves about, and it's by a Latinx author. So I'm probably going to be making a video focusing more on Latinx representation in novels and Latinx authors as well. But this book specifically, it's about this young girl who is, I believe she's a young mother, and she also takes care of her grandma, her abuelita, and she's had to make decisions that kind of sacrifice her personal goals, and one of her dreams is to become like a chef. She wants to work at a kitchen. She loves food. I forget who it was on Booktube that was talking about loving to read about food in books. I don't think I've ever read anything about like the culinary arts and a novel. So I'm very excited about this novel. Contemporary as well, which I'm in the mood for at the moment. And also, let me just, hello. This is so beautiful. I've never seen a book like this before. I'm very excited to read this. If I could get the thing on it. Right, so those were all of the books. Let me gather them together. Okay, so those those were all of the books that I bought recently. I bought all of these books in a span of like a week or 2 weeks, something like that. I'm very excited to read all of these books. I will be like sharing my thoughts more on my Bookstagram account, Naomi's Library. If you don't follow me on there, it'll be linked down below. So yeah, that's all for this video. I was planning, like I said, to do like a Booktube newbie tag, but I feel like it's a little bit like repetitive, and because obviously it's the same questions for everyone. Obviously everyone has different answers to it, but I wanted to make something different as my first video as well. If people want to get to know me a little better, maybe like a Q&A type of situation, and maybe people could ask me questions over on my Instagram and I could answer them on like a video or something. If there's anything that you really want to see me do, like reading vlogs or like Latinx representation recommendations, or like a haul or anything of the sort, video related, let me know. I'm happy to oblige. Yeah, those were all the books. I hope that there's something in this video that you were interested in and that you go buy it. Like I said, it's very important in this moment to be reading own voices novels and supporting Black authors. That's all I have. So if you enjoy the video, obviously subscribe. I'll really appreciate it. And yeah, that's all. So thank you so much. Bye bye.